He was always very zealous for God. He had a burden for souls, and that became evident by the fact that he went all out for missions.
One of the very cornerstones of RCCM is our worldwide reach. Pastor Galvano has led teams to countless nations over the decades. Pastor David Singleton was the team leader for our recent trip to Kenya.
One of the things that convinced me and persuaded me to go was as we sat together and he talked about his heart for Africa and heart for pastors outside of the U.S., he began to weep. And it touched me that it meant that much to him. And we went. Just talking about it in the airport and the travels there, you could see this vibrancy in him. What we did was unlike many of the other crusades that had happened in Kenya before. They would come to Nairobi, of course, which is this major metropolitan area. They would come to some of the larger cities. But we went to some place called Eldoret. And the pastors there was such a hunger. We would go where they were. They were able to touch us, if you will. We connected, we sat together, we ate together, we fellowshiped, and there was a kind of a pulling on, can we get you? Can you come here? Can you be with us? We were in Eldoret, and our contact person there had a host of pastors come. We met with them. And when we walked in this room where they were gathered, there were many heads that were hung down, and just kind of a hopeless, they're in it, but it's almost like it's drudgery, it's not joy, and unfulfilling, if you will. And Pastor Galvano got up and began to address the group. And this was nothing formal, it was very informal. But as he did, I watched persons go from a kind of slumped over, sad posture to perking up, and the eyes got bright, and now there's the nodding of the head and, excitement. And when it was over, the room was full of life, the people were full of life, and these were the pastors who had to minister to others. It was almost like a day and night difference. It was very, I consider myself blessed to have witnessed that kind of thing. It was just very fulfilling for me, and I believe very fulfilling for them, according to their own words. In fact, in Eldoret, we were getting ready to minister, and Pastor Galvano was speaking, and some lady that we had talked to earlier had heard about this, hearing about this thing. She was thinking to take her life, and the Holy Spirit just spoke to her. We've been praying, intercessors been praying, and she came to one of the services, and she shared that this ministry had blessed her, and now she wasn't going to take her life, and things like that. I mean, you just see the hand of God. And so it was very evident that God had given him something to inspire others who were basically at the point of giving up. No hope, it's useless, it's worth it, God isn't in it, to I know God is in it, I could do it, I'm going on. It was just a blessed experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
The Kenya experience was incredible, but it certainly wasn't unique. What RCCM is doing in Pakistan is hard to explain. It's got to be seen. We're touching every corner of that nation. In the face of travel advisories and government warnings, my father has traveled to the most remote and turbulent corners of the world, all for the sake of the gospel.
Pastor Gabano is well known in Italy. His passion for preaching in Italy and in other parts of the world.
He introduced to the CCNA Africa, Argentina, Bolivia, Ecuador, Paraguay, and God knows where. So the CCNA has been blessed by your father's ministry directly and indirectly. And you as a son could be proud of him.
I think that Pastor Steve Galvano has the ability to take something that's parochial, a local church, an entity that may not be the biggest thing in the world, and pour into that entity the vision for a whole world. So you go to the church and you see people from all over the world because he has poured into that congregation an ability to see the world.
The World Ministry Conference, nothing like it. The first one in 2001 was just over the top. I'd never heard of anything like it before, where pastors came from all over the world.
Our pastor's vision for the World Ministry Conference is like none other. I don't know of any other church anywhere that does what he does, but because he has such a heart for pastors, he just brings them in and he takes care of everything. There's people that have been pastors for many years and they come here and they experience something they've never experienced before. It's been such an experience that you can't even describe.